where he's won nearly 80% of his games, guided his team to 17 playoff appearances, 10 district titles, and a state championship game appearance in 2009. His team is the top seed in this year's 5A state playoffs. Rummel defeated Washita Parish 23-19 Friday night in Monroe to advance to the semifinals in 5A this Friday night against the 13 seed Mandeville Skippers. The game will be on WGSO 990 AM and WSOA 1560 AM. Please give a warm welcome to Rummel Raiders coach Jay Roth. Jay?
Thank you, Kenny, and thanks to the Lawrence Quarterback Club. I'd like to recognize our administration of Rummel High School, our principal, Mr. Mike Scalco, Director of Finance, Ms. Connie Carrigy, Athletic Director, Coach Phil Greco, and Assistant Athletic Director, Coach Kurt Morange. Thank you all for being here today. Kenny made me feel better on Friday when I talked to him. And he says, Jay, I'd like you to come speak at the quarterback club. I said, Ken, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to North Louisiana. I don't know if I'm going to come home with a victory. I'm not going to be in the best mood. Yeah, I wish you would have picked me a little earlier in the season. Why did you wait till week 14? He says, Jay, I'm going to tell you right now. Every coach I've asked to speak has won their game the previous week. I said, yeah, you're right, I'll be there. You hear? And sure enough, I'm here. And that was good stuff to hear that, Kenny. So I appreciate it. I wish you maybe waited one more week, maybe?
You two guys have a standing invitation to return next week if you win, okay? Well, along with a certain coach in River Ridge, okay?
That would be great. I'm going to tell you, Jabbar runs a great program. Jabbar was a player when I was a young assistant coach at Archbishop Shaw and was one of the fiercest, hardest hitting safeties they've had in this city. And he has done a great job. I mean, there's a little coaching tree going around in Orleans right now. It came from that Frank Wilson coaching tree, and Dave's part of it. And I think Frank Wilson and that staff showed people that football can be won in Orleans Parish, and it can be won the right way. And I'm proud of the job, how Dave has risen to college football. I'm proud of the job that Jabbar has done with his program. First class, we played them maybe 6 years ago, and we were doing well at the time, and Jabbar was starting his program, and we won the first meeting, 3 or 4 scores, and the next year, is his coach going to come by your school and just talk to you, pick your brain? Sure, coach, come on by. I love a young guy who wants to learn. I mean, I was that way at one time, and I'm still trying to learn. Well, the next year, we beat him by 2 points, and he didn't even coach that game. He was watching from the other side of the fence, and because of an incident, he had to sit out. That happened to him. I said, well, we're not playing no more, coach. And he sat next to me and said, coach, I got openings next year. I said, well, you just told me you got 22 Division I athletes on his team next year, and we don't seem to have any, it seems like. But just want to say it's been a great year at Archbishop Rummel. We're currently 12-0. I'm the kind of coach that's kind of a pessimistic guy. I sit in my office with my assistant coaches, and we look at the schedule, and we say, well, if we can win 2 games this year, we could really pull it out the hat. If we can go 2-8, and lo and behold, you're 3-0, and you win a big game against St. Aug, who was wrong at the time, and win a big game against Holy Cross, and then you take on Jesuit for the district championship, and things have gone real well for us. Got a great group of kids. Of course, when you have a 4-year starter quarterback in Damian Williams, it makes coaching fun. I told Rick Daly the other night, I said, Coach, it is fun to call plays when everything you call seems to work, because you've got the type of players that can execute and make it happen. And Damian's one of those. Damian's a quarterback. He's 6'1", 225 pounds. He was a freshman starter in the Superdome against West Monroe 4 years ago. This year he's completed 65% of his passes for over 1,700 yards, 18 touchdowns. He's run for 8 touchdowns. He's run for about 800 yards. And at this time, he's not a prospect. As people say, where's he going? Well, he doesn't have any offers per se as far as BCS offers. He has some 1AA offers. He's academically qualified, but for some reason, I guess people's GPS don't work and they can't seem to find Rummel. But hopefully at the end of the season, something will come around. We also have on offense Sethan Carter. He's our tight end. He's caught 16 balls this year. He's been a vicious fullback, H-back blocker. When you think of Rummel, how much we run the ball, he's the guy always at the point of attack. He's 6'4", 240. And I think he's going to be a tight end in college. And he's another one right now that is currently not on anybody's list per se, but hopefully by the end of the season, some people will come around looking for a player. So those are our Division I prospects we have at Rummel. Defensively, we got a great group of kids on defense that just play hard, and they kind of take after their defensive coordinator, Eddie Jackillard. They got this, this chip on his shoulder of like being born. Like Eddie Jackilard's my defense coordinator. Been with him for 18 years. I've been knowing Eddie for a while. I like to say he's kind of got a Napoleon complex. He's a short fella, about 5'5", takes everything personally, and that's how his players play. His players play like everything is personal, like their hair's on fire. you know, and that's the way he teaches them. We have a great linebacker core. The biggest one's only 5'8". They go about 5'7", 5'8", 5'6". Nobody's over 180 pounds, but they're some pretty good football players. So currently right now, we stand at 12-0. We play Mandeville. Pretty neat semifinal game. Nobody's really traveled. You know, we're not going to Lafayette. We're not going to Shreveport. Nobody's coming from Shreveport to Mandeville to play us in the semis. We're playing a team 40 miles or less from us right now in Mandeville. It's the North Shore, South Shore. We've played Mandeville in the past. Just 3 years ago we played them, and we defeated them 41-40 in overtime. And that they could possibly put up points like that. Mandeville is a team that has improved tremendously since the beginning of the season. Coach Godley Kampf, they were 2-2 at one point. They've won 10 straight games now. Their quarterback was selected Quarterback Club Player of the Week last week for his performance against Catholic High. So we look at it as a big challenge. It reminds us of just playing a typical New Orleans football team. Well coached, good athletes, hustle, and they execute. And they're not going to beat themselves. So we'll have our hands full Friday night. So hopefully we can get back to the Dome. I know I've been a guy that really hasn't wanted to talk about that in the past. It's happened once in my 18 years as head coach, and it was a great feeling. It was kind of a shocker. This year, people said we're going to be good, and I just kind of shrugged it off, and finally I said, okay, if y'all going to say we're going to be good, we need to set our goals correctly. And after the season ended, regular season, we set our goals to get back to the Superdome. So now we're one game away, and hopefully we can do it, but it's going to have to go through Mandeville Friday night. Is there any questions?
Raise your hand.
Yes. I know, you know, and I hate to be a crybaby a lot of times and complain about injuries. There's nothing to complain about. We're as healthy as we've been. We've had a healthy season. So knock on wood, we continue that way. But we're good. We're good to go.
Raise your hand. What about Cleaver? Talk about Cleaver. Does he have any prospects?
Well, Patrick Cleaver is an offensive tackle. He is 6'8", 315 pounds, 32 on the ACT.
Wow.
And his best football is still a year or two ahead of him. When Patrick was a freshman, he was probably a young man. He could not squat. He could not get down in a squat position. Couldn't move. I likened him to being a baby giraffe, just birthed and coming out of birth and couldn't walk and would fall down. We're not even trying to fall down. He had not grown into his body, and he is still yet to grow in his body. But he's a 2-year starter. He's going to make somebody a great left side offensive tackle. Right now, some Ivy League schools are looking at him. He definitely wants to play football at an academically oriented institution. And his older brother is a senior at the Naval Academy, so he's definitely got it in his family. But so at the end of the season, I guess he'll take a look at some Ivy League schools if that's all he has. No, he started last year as a junior. He's a senior. He's a senior, yes. He's one of the.